It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back. This is Ed Opperman with the Opperman Report, private investigator Ed Opperman. We are joined with Rob Horn, who has gotten a hold of a storage locker. As a matter of fact, two storage lockers belonging to Damien Echols and Lori Davis, now Lori Echols. You can find Mr. Horn's eBay site, because he's selling a lot of these items here, on eBay at BKBARN. We also have on the phone with us William Ramsey from William Ramsey Investigations. You can hear his show on Saturday nights, 8 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. So we have William and we have Rob Horn. Rob Horn, tell us about yourself.
Oh, my name is Robert Horn. I go by Rob. I am a veteran from the military. I joined the Marines in 1972, got out in 76, and then joined the Army for the rest of the 21 years that I did in the service. After that, I became a cop, ranger with Park Systems. My last job was with Arizona State Parks as a manager and a cop.
Oh, very interesting.
And I had a pretty good career over the years. Now I'm retired.
And then what happened? You got like Storage Wars, like that TV show. You started buying these storage lockers?
Yeah, we started out in 1999, and we bought a few, and we worked with the people that bought them. So we've been selling on eBay since about 1992. My son he's kind of the quiet, silent partner, but these are his auctions. I'm just helping him with them. We have done this for so long, we're pretty good at it. Anyway, in Texas is where we started out doing that, and we did really good. Got really tired of wrapping packages because we were doing 300 and 400 books a week, and or items. It wasn't just books; it was everything. And so I got burned out. And when I finally left that job, I kind of stopped for a few years.
How did you come across? Right. How did you come across these lockers here belonging to the convicted murderer Damien Echols?
We went up to what is the name of the town? Oh yeah, Little Rock, Arkansas, and we were going to a storage unit auction where people had defaulted on their storage units, and we come across one. It was full of books, and I thought to myself that would be really cool. And I told my son that I kind of like that. My wife loves selling books too, and so we put a bid of $50 on it. Yeah, we just figured it was books. Nobody else wanted it, so we got it, and it turned out to be just what you said, a gold mine. Took us about 3 days to figure out that it was all these letters were from Supermax, and we looked up Damien Echols' name, and once we realized what it was, it became pretty interesting. I called Channel 5 News in West Memphis, and what was that lady's name?
Janice.
Yeah, Janice. I forget her last name. Anyway, Janice at Channel 5, and she came out that day and interviewed us, and that really helped because we got lots of calls and messages and emails from people wanting to buy this stuff just outright. But we said no, we didn't sell anything outright. It all went on eBay, and that's what we've been continuing to do, just selling on eBay.
Now, when did you come in possession of this stuff? How long ago?
Right, probably the 1st of July, a little bit, maybe the 31st or the 30th of the month prior. So July 1st is probably when we got started good.
Now since you've come in, now how did you come into possession of the second locker?
Second locker was kind of weird. I got an email from a fellow that said, hey, I bought a storage locker that belonged to Damien Echols 4 months prior to me buying that one. And he said he wanted to sell it. He said, oh, my wife is pregnant with twins, and I just don't have time to mess with it. And I said, well, I was interested. And it took us about 3 to 4 weeks to finally get together on it because he was really kind of rough about getting back to me in the emails when I'd email him. But we finally ended up with it and brought it back after the first month of the first locker, which we had sold most everything in it by then. And now we're working on the last of the items in the second locker we got. And by the way, the second locker had way more stuff in it than the first one.
And do you know how much Echols owed on these lockers that caused them to go into default?
Well, usually the rules are they start sending them letters after they're 3 months behind, and then they have their rules in the state that they have to abide by. They send it to them in certified mail and say you got to pay by a certain time, and if it doesn't happen, then they can sell it.
So what'd you pay for the second locker?
That was a little more pricey. I paid $1,600.
Ooh, okay, all right, it's okay. Now, since you've discovered that this belongs to this convicted child killer, have you gone and watched the documentaries, Paradise Lost, and this kind of stuff to kind of get some background on what happened?
We sure did. My wife is an avid reader, so she read some of the books, and we watched, I think, three of the movies that came out. The first one, and that pretty much portrayed him as the guy that killed him. I think that was how it worked. And the second two were always not guilty.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, as an ex-cop, what is your take on all this?
You know, I kind of reserved judgment, and for a good long while, I thought, well, if they didn't have DNA evidence, then he might have got a raw deal. But after I got a hold of the second locker and I saw the reading material that he read, I'm thoroughly convinced that he probably was guilty of sin.
Okay. Now, so describe to us what you came across that's made you come to this conclusion.
I would say that 85% of the books that he had his name in were about the occult, witchcraft, and Wicca, and what was it? What's that say? Psyche. Well, Psyche or whatever. But Crowley is his hero. Aleister Crowley, and the Book of Law, and I mean, like, he underlined stuff and that, and even I've got one of his Bibles that he has his name all over, and everything in it that he underlined is about the devil.
Really? So this is a Christian Bible, and he underlined stuff about the devil?
Yeah, pretty much everything that was in there that I saw, he had underlined. It was about the devil.
Now, can you tell?
He has a fascination with the devil, demons, and all that. You know, I mean, I don't know. I can't say for 100% that he's a devil worshiper, but it sure looks like it to me.
Just to interject here, Mr. Horn, you took pictures of one of his journals where he had written in his own handwriting, "I am the devil." Is that you who took that picture?
Well, that's me, all right.
That's you, yeah, because that kind of got published, at least on one of the West Memphis 3 researchers saw that. So that's just kind of bolstering that information about Damien Echols and the devil.
Yeah, he says it in there, and it was part of a poem he wrote. And as you know, poems usually come from the heart, and if that's what his heart feels, that's kind of weird. He also did the magic, not magic like you go to a show and watch somebody do magic on the stage, but M-A-G-I, not I-C, it's K-I-C.
And what was he doing? How was he doing magic? What made you come to that conclusion?
Well, that's actually like spells and things like that. It's not really about magic like a magic show.
Right.
That's what I'm getting at. It's more along the lines of a spell you would do, or I don't know, get people to do what you want, or it could be hexing them. I don't know.
And what made you come to that conclusion? Like you saw writings?
What I'm saying,
yeah,
that's what he was reading.
That's what he was reading. Now, a lot of the people that are fans of this guy, their claim is that, well, he was only involved slightly involved. He had a fascination with the occult and witchcraft when he was a young teenager. Now, do you have any indications of how recent this activity is that he's still involved in this?
Well, yeah, I would say all the way through the time he was in prison and after. I mean, all the books that he had in prison that he was reading and kept, he wrote his names in them, every single one of them. So I've had, I would say, boxes and boxes and boxes. I'm talking 300-400 books that he wrote his name in. And the lion's share of them were about those kind of things. Demons, Wicca, witches, potions, spells, that guy Echols, and even Anne Rice. He's got his name on a lot of Anne Rice's books. We even sold one where she wrote him a thing on it and signed her name to him.
What did she write?
She was. I don't have exactly what she said because we sold the book, but I could look it up later and send it to William, and I can tell you then. You can add it later. How about psychic vampires? Give you an idea of one psychic one.
Robert, what was the total amount of books in both storage lockers?
I've had like 500 books altogether, probably close to 3,000 books.
1,000 books, gotcha.
But now he didn't sign every single one of them books. He didn't actually probably read all them books. But people across the country sent him books when he was in prison. Some of them he wasn't allowed to even have because they weren't allowed in prison. He has probably 250 to 400 adult type comic books that are running on the side of, they wouldn't be allowed in a prison because of the content.
Is it just nude content, or is it like pornography or sexual acts?
Pornography and sexual acts.
But they're comic books.
Yeah, well, they're adult type comic books.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, how much are you selling these books for? How much are people paying you on eBay for these books?
Oh, I've been paid $250 to $2.50. It just depends on what it is. I start them out low and let the people decide what they're going to pay.
All right, that's on eBay at BK Barn, BKBARN. If you want to help out our friend here, Mr. Horn, Rob Horn, and give us all this information. Now, what?
And let me give you my email also. People can email me. I try and answer all questions. And it's MRLOST, the letter N, Arkansas at yahoo.com. So it would read Mr. Lost in Arkansas at yahoo.com.
Mr. Lost in Arkansas.com. At yahoo.com.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
and how many books have you sold so far?
Well over 450 probably.
Do you need a partner?
Those are books with his name in it, though.
Right.
I've sold many more books than that didn't have his name in it.
Now, what about photographs?
I've sold a couple of photographs. None of the ones that I wouldn't let my mom see, though. Those I actually sent those back to Lori and Damien. I didn't want to let the public see those because I didn't think that would be right of anybody.
So you've been in contact with Damien Echols and Lori Davis, is that correct?
Not in contact, really. I mean, I sent them an email, one line, do you want your stuff? And this is what I got. Send me postage, I'll send it to you. And they said yes, sent me one line back, and they sent them their stuff.
Gotcha.
Can you describe this? Yeah. Can you describe the stuff that you sent them?
I had, probably about 10 or so bad pictures that you wouldn't want anybody seeing. I sent those back because I didn't want anybody seeing them. And then 3 yearbooks, a baby book, and what else? Oh, a Bible. It was Lori's Bible that her mother sent her. Didn't look very good, very well used. And it had a letter from her mother.
Okay. Now,
would you describe the content of the photographs you sent back to them as kind of fetish type photographs involving nudity?
Definitely fetishes.
Gotcha.
That's about all I'll say. So
now, you didn't make copies of those photos before you sent them back?
Oh, no.
Okay.
But you had also published some writing from Damien Echols in his handwriting describing kind of fetish type behaviors between him and I don't know if it was Lori or some other random woman, but so these pictures were kind of